Welcome to Upper Body Recovery Day, Mobility and Activation. We will begin the class doing a suboccipital release and breathing work. You can stay in this position for up to 2 to 5 minutes. If you do not have a peanut or a yoga block, you can lay flat on your back or in a nice seated position. Next, we'll move on to some mobility and soft tissue. With a lacrosse ball, tennis ball, you're going to start in your lower paraspinals and work your way up the back to the upper paraspinals. You'll place the ball on one side of your spine, moving that same sided limb in and out 5 times. After you've completed 5 on one side, you can move the ball to the other side of your spine and do the same thing, working your way up segment by segment. Now, if you have 2 lacrosse balls or 2 tennis balls, you can make what's called a peanut that looks like this ball. You can do that by taping them together or placing them into a sock and tying the sock off. This will allow you to do one side and then the next easily. Again, you'll work your way up, eventually making it towards the upper spine. Here we'll now move our upper limbs instead of our lower limbs. You'll move your arm up overhead 5 times, and then out to the side 5 times. Again, once you've completed one side, switching and doing the other side. If you have a peanut, you can do both arms at the same time by placing the ball on your spine, where the ball is on either side of the spinal column, and moving the arms 5 times overhead and 5 times out to the side. All the while remembering to take nice deep breaths . Next, we'll move on to our upper trap. You can place the ball on the upper part of your neck. A couple different variations here. One is a hip lift. So placing the ball on your upper shoulder and coming up into a bridge. The next is adding that same arm movement we did earlier with the paraspinals, moving the arm up overhead and out to the side. The other option is moving your neck. Now this should be done very slow and controlled. You should not have any pain or discomfort. The next movement we will do is our pec release. You can either use a foam roller or a ball for this. But finding an area of tension in your pec, and then you can add movement with that arm on that side. Lifting it off, moving it up overhead, whatever feels right for you. You can find multiple spots on one side and then switch to the other side. The next exercise is for our lats. Again, this is one where you can use your foam roller, going all the way up and down, finding areas of tension on the lat, and then if you'd like, add some movement, whether it be rotating the arm or lifting the arm off towards the ceiling. Again, finding multiple spots on one side and then completing the same task on the opposite side. Now coming into some T-spine extension, you're going to place your hands behind your head, foam roller at your mid-spine. Your core is staying nice and engaged. I want you to think about pivoting over the foam roller, not allowing your low back to arch. Finding multiple spots through the mid-back, completing 5 extensions over each spot. After you've done this, we'll move into a cat-cow. Thinking about extending through every vertebrae from your sacrum all the way up to your neck, and rounding the same way through each and every vertebrae, slow and controlled, moving with your breath. I want you to complete 10 repetitions back and forth in this position. The next exercise will be a T-spine wall rotation. If you have a band, you can utilize that. If not, no worries. I want you to complete 10 rotations each direction, keeping the foam roller and your knee in contact with the wall. Next, we'll move into some wall slides with liftoff. Again, completing 10 repetitions, sliding the arms up the wall and lifting off, all the while keeping the core nice and engaged and not allowing the low back to arch when you lift off. Now, coming onto our stomachs, we'll move into prone tees. Thinking about keeping the core nice and engaged and lifting off with the muscles between the shoulder blades. Again, 10 repetitions. Staying in that same position, we'll move into prone W liftoffs with overhead press. Again, focusing on the muscles between those shoulder blades, lifting off and pressing overhead. 10 repetitions, keeping the core nice and engaged and not allowing the upper traps to take over.